Hey everybody, and welcome back to Bigfoot Cooking, where today we're making carrot soup. Not something you've heard of? Oh, you have been missing out. This stuff, not only is it healthy, it's all root vegetables, and it's going to taste absolutely great. So let's get started with the ingredients. Step one, about 2 pounds of carrots. Now I've already peeled and cut the ends off of these, so they are ready to go. All we gotta do is chop them when we get to that point. But we got 2 pounds of carrots. I've got a white onion that I'm using. I'm gonna use the whole thing. We're gonna throw in 4 potatoes. Now, potato of choice, use what you want. But for me, I've got Yukons and Reds, kind of a mix of both worlds. That way you get a little variety when you eat. I've got me a nice healthy knob of ginger, thumb of ginger. I don't know, it's a big hunk of ginger. Want it fresh, that way you get that little extra something. I mean, you can use the dehydrated stuff, but fresh is always better, right? I've got 6 cloves of garlic, just to get a little kicker to it. 6 cups of broth. Now, this is also where, what would you like to use? I've got chicken broth and I've got ostrich bone broth. A little different, not something you can find everywhere, but you could use all chicken broth, vegetable broth, even a beef broth. I mean, what flavor would you like? Make this soup yours. I'm just throwing out one way to do it. Feel free to make it however you like. That's the joy of cooking. We've got our, like I say, our broth, a cup of heavy cream, 1/4 cup of unsalted butter, because you're gonna salt to taste as you go along. So whereas I'm adding a little bit of salt, when you get toward the end, make it the way you want, add your flavor. We've got 2 teaspoons of Thai curry paste. That's gonna give it a little heat and just a little more flavor to go with it as well, along with our salt, our cumin, and our basil. Now that you've got everything here, let's get to some cooking and let's get into some nom-nom. Now, the order of operation on how you cut this kind of helps things. Like the potatoes, I'm gonna do them last, so that way they don't brown while they're just sitting here waiting to hop in the hot tub. So step 1, carrots. We're not gonna worry so much about exact size, but you wanna cut this into smaller pieces. That way, when it actually starts cooking in the pot, it cooks faster. The bigger the chunk, the longer it takes. I mean, yes, you don't have to cut anything. You can drop the whole thing in there, but man, you'll be here for 2 hours cooking. So let's get some carrots, let's do some chopping, and let's make this quick. And carrots are done. Now, let's go ahead and do the garlic next. I mean, doesn't really matter. Ooh, escapees. Doesn't really matter which way you do it, as long as you do it right. Now for the garlic, I'm actually gonna put it through a press. So right now, all we're trying to do, I'm cutting off both ends of it, and we're gonna peel the paper off. So that way later on, there's no paper to deal with. Now, when you get tired of fighting with it, trying to get the paper off of it, there is a better way. Once again, we're gonna cut both ends, and then you just take the knife, turn it sideways, smash. A little harder there. That right there opens it up and makes it where the paper just peels right off. Trust me, this will save you a whole lot of time as opposed to trying to do it the other way. One more, and then, oh, time for some ginger. Now, with the ginger, it's not exactly the prettiest stuff to work with. It's kind of odd shaped and irregular and just, well, difficult, but that's okay. What we're after is the stuff inside anyway. So we're gonna take our knob, finger, what have you of garlic. We're gonna go ahead and use our vegetable peeler, and we're gonna de-skin the guy. Or you could use a paring knife if you have that talent, but this, so much easier. And like you see, we've got our ginger pretty well peeled. Everything's off the outside of it. We'll just do it to our other little knobs, and we will have ginger ready for slicing. You know, the one thing that's nice about fresh ginger is when you're peeling it, oh, it smells so good. It gives you that aromatherapy, I guess you'd say. I mean, gives you aromatherapy, taste therapy, yummy in the tummy therapy. It's just a little aggravating because you got little pieces and you don't want to waste this stuff. It's just too good. All right, we've got our ginger nice and de-husked, de-skinned, whatever you want to call it. Let's go ahead and mince it up and make it nice and fine. So that way, as we cook it, again, the smaller the pieces, the better. And this is kind of tough on its own. So you've definitely got to cook it down. The smaller, the better. Now, the smaller the better rule does not apply to your fingers. You want to make sure you try to keep them. After all, you were born with them. If they happen to be 2 inches long or 12 inches long, try to hang on to them. They don't grow back. Ginger is nice and processed. Let's cut up an onion. Part of the reason why you're doing all the prep work first is because once you get to the pot, some of the ingredients tend to go in pretty quickly once they start cooking. So this way you're not wasting time and running back and forth going, oh, what do I do? What do I do? Nope, you're ready for war. Now with the onion, we're not looking for the smallest possible pieces. You know, just a good normal size, you know, basic cut of onion, because once this cooks down for a while, we're gonna run it through an immersion blender. Oh yeah, new tricks, stand by for those. So let's get this guy chopped fully and into a little holding vessel. Now for the potatoes, since we are using a thin-skinned potato as opposed to like a russet, which has a little bit thicker, the Yukon Golds and the Reds, we're not gonna skin these. Again, this is a preference thing. Like I say, if you wanna take them off, it don't matter. But for me, A, it saves time because that's one less thing I have to deal with. And B, well, I kinda like the flavors. So we're gonna cut these down, get them in the pot, and ooh, let's start some cooking. Now that everything is prepped, let's get the hot pot hot and the swimming pool ready. So we got our nice big pot here just waiting for some magic to happen. Get the fire going. We're gonna go ahead, dump in our butter. This is how we'll know when the pot's hot, because when this guy goes in, well, nothing happens. But once it gets warmed up, oh, it gets melty goody, and then we can add some onions. Butter is down. Let's give it some onions. All in there. Everybody, all at once. Oh, mix it in with that butter. Go ahead and get these guys sweating it out a little bit. You know, sweating to the oldies or whatever they used to say. And our onions are loosening up a little bit. Now let's go ahead and add in our ginger with all its wonderful health benefits and everything. I mean, they even say it reduces aging, gut health. There's all kinds of medicinal aspects to the ginger. Google it, figure it out for yourself, because there is a lot going for it. And we got that. Let's go ahead and start crushing in our garlic, shall we? Plenty of garlic for this recipe. Now, don't be too scared of it though, because while it seems like a lot, once you get everything else mixed in there, it cooks down and it's not near as strong. You got enough ingredients to kind of cover it up some. Now, before your garlic burns, you want to make sure you add some liquids to it, because if you get burnt garlic, oh, it is not a flavor you are wanting. So we're going to add in 4 cups of our chicken stock. That'll keep everything from burning at the bottom. Plus our ostrich bone broth. Again, like I say, you don't have to use the ostrich bone broth, but I got it, might as well, right? Now, if you're curious on how to make the bone broth, you can check that out in another episode where we went through and we actually took ostrich bones, but you could use whatever bone you want, be it, you know, chicken bones, cow bones, I guess raccoon bones if you're really feeling froggy, but you can make your bone broth out of just about everything out there. But now that we've got some liquid in here, let's go ahead and add in some carrots and some potatoes. Come on, boys, everybody in the pool. We have a no potato left behind rule here. And of course, the carrots. Kind of hard to make carrot soup without carrots, right? Because then you're making potato soup. And that's another episode. We'll get to that one, trust me. Now what I want to do here, I'm going to wait until this starts to boil a little bit. Once it gets good and hot and bubbly, I'm going to add in all the seasoning, stir it up some, and then we'll let it mellow out. All right, we got a nice happy boil going on over here. Look at that. Tell you what, this is the smells of just the ginger, the garlic, the onion. Ooh, this is going to be some soup to remember. But we need to spice it up a little now. So for our first spice of the moment, we're going to add just a little bit of a Thai curry paste to it. Looks almost like tomatoes, but no, it is much better than that. This is going to add a little flavor and a little heat. We'll dump in our cumin, our basil, and of course the salt. Give it all a good mix. That way there's nothing, you know, no part of this hasn't been seasoned, flavored, touched up, and made just exactly what you want. Now, we've got all this in here. What we'll do next, we'll turn it down to low and we'll let it sit here and simmer for 20, 30 minutes or so. You want the potatoes soft, you want the carrots soft, so that we can hit it with the immersion blender. So while this is going on, I'm gonna set the lid on it, and we are gonna sit back and watch a little TV while this stuff debates life. I'll be right back. 20 minutes. Amazing, the power of editing, right? 20 minutes have gone by. Now let's see what's hiding underneath this lid that we've had sitting here just a cooking away. Ooh, that's looking pretty daggum good right there. Let's see, let's give it a little bit of a stir. Look at all of that. That right there, that is the carrot soup that we have been looking for. The potatoes are falling apart. I guarantee you the carrots are gonna zip right through as well. So let's go ahead and cut her off. I think we're good now. We've got a nice cook and everything. It's time for the immersion blender. Tell you what, these guys are amazing. And the fact that this one has a removable plastic end, it's gonna keep me from scratching up my pot. So even if I had like a non-stick surface, you could use this thing. Matter of fact, I'll see if I can find it. I'll put it in a link down below. That way, if you guys want to check it out yourself. So we're gonna stick this thing in here and we are going to blend away in the extreme fast mode. All right, now that we've got it nice and creamed up, we're also gonna go ahead and add in our whipping cream as well. This way, the heavy cream that's in here, what it's gonna do, it's gonna help thicken it up a little bit and, of course, give it a nice rich flavor. Now, of course, you can do this in a blender as well, but that's just one more pot to get dirty, one more thing to clean. If you've got the immersion blender, you do it all in the same pot you've been cooking in, but you do tend to get air bubbles in it. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna give it a little while to cool off because you can't eat this right now. It's so hot, it will burn you from one end to the other. What do you guys think? 10, 15 minute rest time? All right, I'll try, but you know I'm hungry. Guys, I actually did it this time. I actually waited 15 minutes to let something cool before trying it. Now, as you can tell, this is some wonderful stuff. It has a nice thickness to it, and let's see how she looks. Ooh. And you know I'm getting more than one scoop of this, right? Whoa. And I tell you what, I sampled a little bit of it earlier. I was worried there wasn't gonna be enough salt to it, but this stuff turned out perfect. I mean, I didn't have to add a single thing to it when I got ready to serve it out. And there you have it. Tell you what, before we get too happy, let's try a little coffee shop barista thing. We're gonna take a little heavy cream, pour it right here in the middle, make it nice and round. Take us back of the spoon and just drag it through. Oh, it's kind of a heart. I mean, that's kind of what I was going for. Better it's a balloon on a stick. Use your imagination. But let's go ahead and add a little Parmesan cheese to the top of it too. I mean, nothing says good eating like cheese, right? Especially with some carrots and some potatoes. Oh, this looks like good stuff. And you know what happens with good stuff around here? It gets good and gone. Oh, let me get a little bit of that cream, a little bit of that cheese right there. Y'all watch, it's gonna go, it's gonna go. And I didn't burn my mouth for once. This is a red banner day. Oh, this is good stuff. It sounds weird if you haven't had it before. Carrot soup, But the carrots, the ginger, all of it put together, baked and blended together, this will take care of your tummies on them cold winter rainy days. And being all root vegetables, it's gotta be good for you. So just take a bite of it, and every bite, remember two things. One, you done made something really good. And two, Bigfoot is real. Really good at making soup too. Now, for those of y'all who have watched this more than once, something was forgot. Something that happened every show was forgot. And I don't know how it was forgot, but it was. Y'all figure it out and stick it in the comments. Let's see who gets it right, because I did it. Oops. And this stuff sucks to peel.